Now, it's been a couple of months since the Nationals. I mean, the Nationals were what date?
January 13th for the teen and 14th for the miss. So definitely a couple months out.
I mean, heading into the Nationals, I mean, you're first of all, you guys didn't initially know when it was going to be, and then all of a sudden you had to prep for it. I mean, walk me through the process of what you guys were doing to be prepared for the onslaught of Nationals.
Yes, of course. So like you said, at the beginning in June when we were crowned, we had no idea when the national competition was going to be. So when we found out in October, we kind of started prep and hit the ground running from there. Obviously for me, I kept a couple of my outfits from the state competition as well as my talent routine, so I didn't have to really do as much work as some other girls did where they had to come up with new routines for their talent. So I got into the studio right away. I actually got to work in the rec center at Springfield to kind of brush up on my skills and my talent routine, which was a tap routine to I'm Still Standing from the movie Sing. And so I got to do that, but then I also got to work with Nakia Troth, who is Peyton Troth, Miss Connecticut's teen 2022, her mother, on a lot of mock interview and walking prep as well. So we really hit the ground running in October when we found out the dates were in January, and then since then up until about January 1st, December 30th, in that kind of time range, we worked and prepped until we had to fly out to Orlando, and that was a really awesome experience getting to work with not only Nakia but all of the people that she brought in as mock interview judges, and also people to watch Gina and I's talent rehearsals or walking rehearsals as well.
I mean, do you think it might have been even easier not knowing when it was and then all of a sudden being rushed into it, where you don't really have time to second guess yourself?
Honestly, I kind of felt okay with the timing, especially because it was October and then we had a couple of months until January to prep and kind of really sit down and relax and kind of look over paperwork and really go over the details of the job, especially with people like Gina and I, who this was her first year competing and this was my second year competing. We're still pretty new to this, so we kind of did have a little bit of time to go over that stuff and prep, like I talked about before as well. But the time framing for me, like, I felt like it was pretty relaxed and it went by pretty fast, but it also felt really nice and smooth for me as well.
Now, you've been in contact with some of the girls, like through chat rooms and things like that. I mean, what was it like actually meeting these folks for the first time in person?
This is something that I really love to talk about. It's probably my favorite part that I got to experience at Miss America's Teen. And so I arrived on January 5th, which was the day before the start of the actual competition week. And so January 6th was our little orientation and kind of, we had a luau night the night before interviews started the next morning and competition started as well. So we got to walk right into the hotel lobby where everybody was, and just seeing all the girls in person and not just seeing their faces on social media was kind of a really exhilarating feeling. And then we all ran up to each other and hugged each other, started taking pictures, filming videos, and really getting to talk to each other and know each other, not just on a screen on social media, but really in person. And I think having that time to really sit down and learn about my sisters and get to know them and really have fun with them with the luau party the night after was really awesome. And I think that really helped to build our connections, not only just for the week, but for the competition as well.
I mean, not to dismiss everybody there, but were there girls that you connected with right away who you're still firing off, text messages left and right?
So we actually still are very active in our group chats through social media, all of us. So I talk to all the girls all the time, but really my two best friends were Ellie from Idaho and Mia from Rhode Island. We clicked instantly and we spent the whole week getting to know each other. When we went to Dave & Buster's, we were playing Dave & Buster's games together, and we were helping each other get ready with hair and makeup during competition week, and I really found myself getting really close with them. But I also was really close with Natalie from Texas and Aubrey from Oklahoma, and then even our new Miss America's Teen, Hanley. We chat all the time, and I actually am gonna get to see her hopefully soon for my Giovanni shoot with her.
Yeah, well, now, I mean, other than the competition itself, they have you do tons of other things. I mean, what was the most fun activity that they had you do?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So like I mentioned earlier, we got to have a little luau night where we got to eat some great food, and then we got to go to Dave & Buster's again, like I mentioned earlier, and that was really fun. We again got to eat great food, but we got to kind of play games, and that was the night before the teen preliminary competition, and then after that we kind of were really immersed in the competition. But I think really that Dave & Buster's night was kind of not only getting to know each other even more than we already had in the past 2 days, but also just getting to sit back, relax, and kind of have fun the night before the craziness of competition started.
Well, let's talk about competition. I mean, your prep here in Connecticut and, getting ready for it. But then there's the real thing, the real show. I mean, that night, 1 hour when they give you 1 hour places, whatnot. What's going through your head at that particular point?
So actually the night of the teen preliminary competition, we started about 45 minutes to an hour late because there was a tornado that was coming through. So we were kind of sitting backstage wondering what's going on, because the production team was trying to get everything set up, and they were trying to get people to sit in their seats and kind of get people safe inside so that the tornado wasn't going to hit in our path and kind of anybody to get injured or lost or anything like that. So we were sitting on stage just kind of wondering what's going on, when's the show gonna start? But then our choreographers, Mikey and Rudy, came on stage and was like, okay, we're gonna start. So we kind of did a little quick prayer. A lot of the girls and I were really involved in our spiritual and God in that kind of aspect. So we had a really quick prayer during preliminary night, and then kind of got in our positions, hands on our hips, ready to go, and the announcement started going on, and we all were like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And I remember personally for myself, when the curtain kind of dropped or came up, I just stood there and I was able to look out at all the faces, the thousands of people that were there, and I honestly teared up, because this is something that I've been working towards pretty much my whole life. And getting to have that moment and stand on stage with the 50 other girls that I had become so close with, while also kind of getting to achieve my dreams, was beyond anything I could have ever imagined.
Now, talent obviously was very key for all this, and giving yourself a report card. Be kind to yourself, but don't be afraid to be a little critical. How do you feel you did?
So I don't know if I could really give myself a grade, but I really do believe that I did the best that I could have done, and not walking away with the title does not mean that I didn't do a good job or that I did a bad job. I really put my all into every single phase of competition, and I really feel that I was my authentic and genuine self, and I really hope that I came across that way to the judges, all of our judges, because we had 3 different judging panels, So I really do think that I did the best that I possibly could. I gave it my all. I used what I learned in preparation sessions and kind of just was able to be in the moment and be present while also giving it my best shot.
Now, I'm not quite certain how much of the other contestants' talents you saw off stage, or if you went back and watched, the recording. What did you think about the people that you had to compete against?
So I had actually done a little bit of inside research before going to the competition, just to see all of the girls' talents, and some of them actually switched it up. So some of them actually danced at their national the state competition, or sang, but then did a her story presentation or a poem on stage during the national competition. So I was kind of just watching beforehand, but then I was actually contestant number 4, so I got to get ready in my awards outfit, and then was able to sit backstage in one of our dressing rooms, and they had a big TV screen, so I was able to watch everybody and cheer everybody on from backstage. And I really was impressed with not just my performance, because I really do think that I hit it out of the ballpark with my dance, but I was really impressed with all the other girls' performances as well.
Being in a competition like this, you get to see your peers. After meeting the other contestants from across the country, how would you assess your generation, and how do you feel about the future that you guys are going to be bringing for us?
So seeing all of the 50 girls and I just come together and really present ourselves in this way as young women and as teenagers. I was actually the oldest, so I was asserted as the mom of the group, kind of, but getting to see how intelligent and perseverant all of these girls are, I really do believe that there are going to be some fabulous change makers and some fabulous changes in general that are made, not just with my Miss America's teen class, but also the current Miss America class and all of the classes to come as well.
Now, going beyond, I mean, we're fast approaching the time where you got to give up the title to the next person. You've still got some time to assess your year. I mean, but looking back thus far, I mean, what are you most proud about how you've handled yourself?
That is definitely a tough question, especially because just thinking about how in a little over 2 months I'll be crowning the next girl is absolutely wild. The year has flown by so fast, and it definitely has been challenging, like I've mentioned in interviews with you before, being a full-time college student, being a cheerleader at college while also holding the state title and also preparing to potentially hold a national title. It's definitely a lot, but I really am proud that I was able to push through all of the adversity that I had to overcome this year and really get to be one with my community, not only at college but also within the entire state of Connecticut, and get to know people and really listen to their stories and get to help them out.
Now, what piece of advice had you gotten and when you're helped before you got the title that you think is particularly poignant that you want to pass on to your successors?
So I really remember not just Peyton Troth, Miss Connecticut's Teen 2022, but a lot of other title holders that I was close with, or even our Miss America CEO, Robin Fleming, telling us, be present in the moment, and if you blink too fast, like, it's gonna fly by. And I really took that to heart, and like I said in the last question, I have less than or a little over 2 months left, and then boom, I'm giving up my title. So really just be present in the moment, make memories, and before you know it, you're going to be crowning the next girl. But really be thankful for all the opportunities that you get, because this title will catapult you into another stratosphere and give you so many incredible opportunities. So just be present in the moment, kind of sink into what you're doing, and really get to be one with your community and with your title.